The hum of the servers was my lullaby, the glow of the monitors my sunrise. For 2 years, Innovatech Solutions had been my world, and Project Phoenix my magnum opus. It wasn't just a project, it was a living, breathing entity that had consumed my every waking thought, my dreams, my very soul. I was Eleanor Vance, and I was the lead architect, the primary engineer, the beating heart behind what promised to be the most revolutionary AI-driven data analytics platform the industry had ever seen. Project Phoenix was more than just lines of code. It was a symphony of algorithms, a dance of neural networks designed to predict market trends with uncanny accuracy, to identify growth opportunities invisible to the human eye, and to streamline complex data processes into elegant, intuitive solutions. I'd poured my everything into it, late nights blurring into early mornings, fueled by lukewarm coffee and an unwavering belief in what we were building. I saw its potential, not just for Innovatech, but for the world. My colleagues, a small, dedicated team, looked to me for guidance, for solutions, for the vision that tied it all together. Mr. Harrison, our CEO, a man whose charisma was as sharp as his business acumen, often lauded my contributions in company meetings, calling me the brain behind our future. I felt valued, indispensable even. Innovatech was a rising star, and Project Phoenix was its brightest constellation. Whispers of an acquisition had been circulating for months, growing louder with each successful milestone we hit. Omnicorp, a tech behemoth, was reportedly circling, eyeing our innovative edge. A $350 million valuation was being tossed around, a sum that felt surreal, a testament to the collective genius and relentless effort, much of which I knew deep down stemmed from the intricate architecture I had painstakingly woven into Phoenix's core. The pressure was immense, but I thrived on it. The impending acquisition meant tighter deadlines, more rigorous testing, and an unyielding demand for perfection. I embraced it, working harder, longer, pushing myself to the brink. I believed in Innovatech, in Project Phoenix, and in my role in its success. I was part of something bigger than myself. Then came the Tuesday morning that shattered everything. It started like any other day. I arrived early, the office still quiet, the air crisp with the promise of a productive day. I brewed my customary strong coffee, the aroma a comforting prelude to the intense focus I was about to dive into. I logged into my workstation, ready to tackle a particularly stubborn bug in the prediction model, a challenge I was eager to conquer. But before my fingers could even touch the keyboard, an email landed in my inbox. It was from HR, with Mr. Harrison copied. The subject line read, "Urgent meeting request." My stomach tightened. Urgent meetings were never good. I walked into Mr. Harrison's office, the polished mahogany table gleaming under the recessed lights, reflecting the stern faces of Harrison and a representative from HR. The air was thick, heavy with unspoken tension. I sat down, my heart beginning to pound a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Harrison didn't waste time with pleasantries. "Eleanor," he began, his voice devoid of its usual warmth, "we've decided to go in a different direction." The words hung in the air cold and sharp, piercing through my carefully constructed world. My mind reeled. Different direction? What did that even mean? I looked from his impassive face to the HR woman's sympathetic, yet professional gaze. Confusion warred with a growing sense of dread. I don't understand, Mr. Harrison," I managed, my voice barely a whisper. "Is this about the API integration issue? I've almost got it resolved." He shook his head slowly. "No, Eleanor, this isn't about a specific issue. This is about overall alignment. Your contributions have been significant, truly, but as we scale, as we prepare for the next chapter, we need a team that's more cohesive, more aligned with our evolving corporate culture." Corporate culture. The phrase felt like a slap. I had given them my youth, my intellect, my passion. I had built their future, brick by digital brick.
And now I was being told I wasn't a cultural fit? It was an insult, a dismissal of everything I was and everything I had achieved. But Project Phoenix, I started, my voice catching in my throat. I built Phoenix. I know every line of code, every dependency, every potential vulnerability. Who will manage it? Mr. Harrison leaned back, a faint, almost imperceptible smirk playing on his lips. We appreciate your dedication, Eleanor, but no one is indispensable. We have other talented engineers who can pick up where you left off. In fact, to ensure a clean break and minimize any potential for disruption, your access has already been revoked. And, as a standard security protocol, all your personal code repositories, including your work on Phoenix, have been permanently deleted from our servers. We value proprietary data, you understand. The world tilted. Deleted. My code. The countless hours, the breakthroughs, the elegant solutions, the very essence of my professional identity. Gone. Erased. It wasn't just being fired, it was being professionally annihilated. They weren't just letting me go, they were scrubbing me from existence, as if my contributions had never mattered. The cruelty of it was breathtaking, a cold, calculated act of professional vandalism. You deleted my code? I felt a hot flush of anger, quickly followed by a chilling wave of despair. That's illegal. That's unethical.
The HR representative interjected, her voice placating but firm. Eleanor, all code developed on company time, using company resources, is company property. This is standard procedure for an employee termination, especially one in a sensitive role like yours. Your final paycheck and severance package details will be emailed to you. Security will escort you out. I don't remember much of the walkout of the office. The faces of my colleagues blurred, their expressions a mixture of shock and awkward avoidance. My badge was confiscated, my belongings hastily packed into a box by a security guard who kept a respectful distance. The hum of the servers, once my lullaby, now felt like a mocking drone. The crisp morning air, once invigorating, now felt like a suffocating shroud. I walked out into the harsh daylight, clutching a box of personal effects that felt utterly meaningless. My laptop, my precious code, my future, all gone. Innovotech had not just fired me, they had stripped me bare. They had deleted my contributions, effectively erasing my 2 years of life, my 2 years of passion. The injustice was a searing brand on my soul. The days that followed were a blur of grief and rage. I locked myself in my apartment, the vibrant colors of my world fading to a monotonous gray. Sleep offered no escape, only restless nights haunted by lines of code I could no longer touch, problems I could no longer solve. The betrayal cut deeper than just the loss of a job. It was a profound personal insult. My identity had been so intertwined with Project Phoenix, and now both were gone. Every job application I filled out felt hollow. Every interview a performance where I had to pretend that my last role hadn't ended in such a humiliating, devastating way. Weeks turned into months. The initial shock gave way to a simmering resentment. I tried to move on, to rebuild. I took on freelance projects, small coding gigs that felt mundane compared to the grand vision of Phoenix. But the wound festered. Every time I saw a news article about Innovotech, about their impending acquisition, a knot of bitterness tightened in my stomach. They were soaring, riding on the wings of the very project they had so carelessly ripped from my hands, the very code they had so callously deleted. One evening, as I scrolled through tech news, a headline caught my eye. OmniCorp's acquisition of Innovotech Solutions nearing final stages. Project Phoenix key to $350 million. A cold dread, followed by a surge of furious indignation, washed over me. $350 million? All built on my back, on my intellectual property, on the code they had deemed so worthless they'd deleted it. The irony was a bitter taste in my mouth. Later that week, I received a call from Daniel, a former colleague from Innovotech, a junior engineer I had mentored. His voice was hushed, almost conspiratorial. "Eleanor," he began, "I heard about the acquisition. It's huge, but I'm worried about them." "Worried about who?" I asked, trying to sound detached, though my heart was already racing. "Innovotech, Project Phoenix. After you left, it's been a mess. They tried to put someone else in charge, a guy from a different department who barely understood the architecture. They tried to rebuild some of your deleted modules from older backups, but it's not the same. It's fragile, Eleanor. The core dependencies you built, the optimizations, the unique algorithms, no one else truly understood how they fit together. It's like a beautiful, intricate clock, and they've replaced the mainspring with a rubber band." My mind raced, connecting the dots. Daniel's words were a validation of what I had always known. My code wasn't just lines on a screen. It was the very scaffolding of Phoenix. The elegant solutions that prevented catastrophic failures. The subtle optimizations that gave it its unparalleled performance. Without my specific knowledge, without the full, intact version of my work, Project Phoenix was a ticking time bomb, a house of cards waiting for a strong wind. "They're rushing due diligence," Daniel continued. "Omnicorp's team is coming in next month for the final review. Harrison is putting on a brave face, but I know the senior engineers are panicking. They're patching, they're scrambling, but they can't fix what they don't understand. I heard someone say they're even trying to reach out to you, quietly, to see if you'd consult, but Harrison shot it down. The audacity! They deleted my work, publicly humiliated me, and now, in their desperation, they wanted my help? The thought alone ignited a spark within me, a flicker of something long dormant. It wasn't just anger anymore. It was a cold, calculated resolve. They wanted to erase me? They wanted to profit from my genius while discarding me like trash? No, not anymore. I hung up with Daniel, the phone feeling heavy in my hand. The quiet despair that had enveloped me for months began to recede, replaced by a surge of adrenaline, a clarity of purpose. They had taken everything from me, but they hadn't taken my knowledge. They hadn't taken my understanding of the intricate, delicate balance of Project Phoenix. And that, I realized, was my weapon. I spent the next few days in a state of intense focus, not on finding a new job, but on dissecting Project Phoenix in my mind. I revisited every module, every dependency, every custom algorithm I had ever designed. I pictured the entire architecture, the elegant solutions I had implemented, and then, crucially, I pictured the gaps, the vulnerabilities, the points of failure that would inevitably arise if my original, complete code was not present, or if it had been poorly re-implemented. I knew where the cracks would form, where the system would buckle under pressure. I knew the ghost in the machine. The challenge was how to expose these flaws without directly implicating myself, without giving them a chance to fix it before the acquisition. I needed to act as an anonymous whistleblower, providing just enough information to sow doubt, to trigger a deeper investigation by Omnicorp's due diligence team, forcing them to uncover the structural instability themselves. I created a burner email account, routing it through multiple VPNs, making it virtually untraceable. I began to craft a highly technical, meticulously detailed document. It wasn't a